Looking through the crystal ball, can you picture this? And it isn't sabotage.
Ciao and welcome to Gio's Paintbrush, where 5 minutes is all it takes to be blown away by one of the world's greatest artists. Here on Gio's Paintbrush, I only comment on works that I've seen in person. For me, that matters, since getting a sense of a work's depth and detail, and of the curator's decision-making process, how to exhibit a piece, in what space and with what light, in what gallery and adjacent to which other works, can only really be accomplished in person. This in-person experience is heightened even further when one gets the opportunity to experience art in situ. That is, in the exact place the artist intended it to be shown. For example, over the high altar of a medieval village church, in a small town square, in a private home, or in a public building of a major city. This is the ideal circumstance for viewing art, since one actually sees precisely what the artist intended, not just in terms of the piece, but also in terms of its surroundings. While this suggests that museums are a necessary evil, collecting works of art, if you will, that can no longer be exhibited in situ, and attempting to display them for the public in a single convenient location, with at least some attention paid to placing the works in a setting that's compatible with the artist's spirit and intent, there are some museums that are so rich in artistic masterpieces that one actually forgets the works don't really belong there. One of these places is the Museo del Prado in Madrid, Spain, which we visited over winter break in 2008. In today's show, we'll explore a Spanish masterpiece from the Prado, Francisco José de Goya's 3 de Mayo, or the 3rd of May, 1808, oil on canvas, 1814. For my money, this is one of the finest history paintings in the world. De Goya's painting depicts the execution of Spanish citizens by French troops who occupied Spain for 6 years in the early 19th century, on May 3, 1808, the day after brave Spaniards battled Napoleon's troops in Madrid's Puerta del Sol, the city's central square. Spain has a long, proud, and violent history. In the Middle Ages, the land that is the 21st century republic included remarkable and vibrant cities like Toledo and Sevilla, where Christians, Jews, and Muslims lived peacefully together, modeling an acceptance and civic cooperation that we can certainly learn from today. Later, united as a single Catholic nation under the less tolerant Ferdinand and Isabella, Spain drove the Muslims back to Africa and expelled practicing Jews, and with Columbus's so-called discovery of the New World in the late 15th century, Spain's wealth, power, and international influence exploded. But competition for New World resources by other European powers, and an endless devotion of resources by the Spanish crown to helping the Catholic Church counter the Protestant Reformation, left the once all-powerful nation in decline. And the decline did not stop with Napoleon's assertion of authority in the early 19th century. Before Spain would become a modern republic, it still had to endure a terrible, bloody, devastating civil war, from which the nation has still not healed fully, followed by decades of fascist rule under the dictator Francisco Franco. Then, upon Franco's death, his hand-picked successor, King Juan Carlos I, declared the nation a republic and called for elections. As Rick Steves has pointed out, Spain is the only nation in the history of the world in which a dictator appointed a king, who in turn accepted rule only to declare a republic. In 3 de Mayo, de Goya portrays one Spaniard about to be executed for his patriotism as a Christ-like figure, arms extended like Christ on the cross, dressed in a pure white shirt and bathed in a remarkable light, even though the scene takes place at night. The willingness and defenselessness of the man, about to give his life for what he believes in, the blood of his fallen comrades around him, and the anguish of the citizens witnessing the execution, engender a powerful emotional response in the viewer. One reason why this painting is understood as a romantic work, one in which the emotional response inspired is primary to a realistic portrayal or reporting of the scene. This is such a poignant painting. The brutality of the execution, with the faceless, nearly skinless soldiers, covered with so much outerwear and positioned so that they seem inhuman, shooting civilians at point-blank range. The defiant, even glorious bravery of the rebel in white,
and the humble, defenseless nature of the citizens observing the scene, fearful, shocked, horrified. This painting clearly has two sides to it: the human capacity for self-sacrifice to a greater cause, and the willingness to stand alone against injustice, whatever the cost, versus the capacity we also possess for employing violence as a means of political control, for blindly following orders, for acting without humanity toward one another. Apart from its historical context, de Goya's 3rd of May reveals the dual, competing sides of our own nature, one tragic yet inspiring, and the other terrible, ugly, and devastating. On the afternoon of New Year's Eve, 2008, Dana and I took a bus ride from Madrid to San Lorenzo de El Escorial, against the Guadarrama Mountains, with the hopes of seeing Spain's Valley of the Fallen, the controversial monument to its Civil War dead, and the burial site of Francisco Franco. It turned out the site was closed for the holiday, but in walking the town after some really bad Chinese food, yes, we went to Spain and tried the Chinese food, we happened upon a stunning piece of public art, an outdoor sculpture in metal of de Goya's painting. Seeing this hours after seeing de Goya's original at the Prado made me realize how much this monument and this painting means to Spaniards, and how, after 200 years, de Goya's work continues to inspire, to help Spaniards remember. Executions like the one depicted by Goya, instead of leading to long-term French control of Spain, angered the citizenry and emboldened resistance, much like the execution of Irish rebels following the 1916 rising fueled rather than quelled support for independence. If you ever get to Madrid, there are two anti-war masterpieces you must see: Picasso's Guernica at the Sofia and Goya's Tres de Mayo at the Prado. Even in the 21st century, these paintings, two Spanish masterpieces separated by more than 100 years, have much to teach us about ourselves. Thanks for joining us.
I couldn't picture it like I could when I was